No violent episodes from the Minutemen. I mean, this guy doesn't let a single fact get in his way. Meanwhile, the Minuteman stays calm, which he's a better man than I am. I would have lost my mind with this guy. But that points out something else. Something else. This guy is sitting here, he's not doing anything. The federal government doing jack. Not doing their job. He stays calm. We don't want to go down there. Let me ask you this. Do you want to drive to the border on your dime? Do you want to sit in your spare time, sit in the hot sun watching the border for suspicious activity and then not being able to do anything about it and then calling the border police? Maybe the border guards show up. They're stretched so thinly they may not be able to, and then what happens to them? They just release and they come back in again. You want to do that? Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Do you want to spend your time doing this every night? I don't. I said on the radio today, I am turning into the guy I never wanted to be. I don't want to do this. We're doing it because we have to. And a congressman mocking the constituents. Well, then another constituent joins in, agreeing with the Minutemen. Oh, and Stark had more disdain for these voters.
Why is the federal government leaving our borders porous for anybody to come in anywhere they want?
If you knew anything about our borders, you would know that that's not the case. Our borders are quite secure, thank you.
How do you figure it out? Excuse me. What do you mean that people are flowing in here at an alarming rate? Hundreds of thousands of people are flowing in every year.
Yes.
Okay, and so that is not secure.
And how would you secure it?
I'm asking what you guys doing.
No, tell me. I mean, I'm not the government.
I would send about 25,000 troops down there for one thing, and I would build a wall down there to make so vehicles cannot pass.
How high, and how long would that wall be?
As high and as long as it takes.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. We'll go down there. You design the wall. And as soon as we know, if you don't want to shoot the people coming over, then I'll go down and we'll go and start a ladder company. But I got to know how high that wall is, and I'll sell a whole lot of ladders for people who want to come.
Congressman, can I ask you a question?
You've asked one already. Go ahead.
This is a very serious matter, and you're sitting there making fun of it.
I don't have to make fun of you, sir. You do a fine job all by yourself.
What's happened to us? We're Americans. We deserve better, but we haven't done our job. We got sidetracked in stuff and things and power and money and everything else. And so now we're getting the government we deserve. We have to change. It's our fault. But the good news is, we are changing. And Senator, let me put you on notice now. Don't you dare treat the American people like King George a second longer. Because we have changed. We're done. We're done. I think all Americans want to change after the last administration. We did. Fundamental transformation was not really what we were looking for. And that's what Barack Obama promised us on several occasions, but most Americans didn't realize that that meant seizing control of healthcare, banking, energy, the auto industries, spreading directly massive socialism at a breakneck pace. We weren't looking for that. but many were. But we didn't speak the code language, as I have heard from so many people that came from Cuba and former communist countries. They say, you can't hear it. They're telling you. I know. Activists all over the country are now becoming increasingly bold, and people can hear it. We saw the Detroit Social Forum activist Elena Harada. I showed you this last night. Listen to the contempt this woman has for our Border Patrol agents.
When we go into our restaurants and there's Border Patrol sitting there, would you sit next to the Ku Klux Klan if they were sitting in a restaurant with a hood on over their heads? Thank you. Then say that when you see them. Say that when you see them, because they have no good intentions. So when you see them, refuse to sit with them, refuse to eat with them, pretend like, you know, they are the menace that they are, and pretty soon everybody will catch on to it, and they won't feel so comfortable to terrorize our communities.
Shame on this man. Shame on this man. Laughing. Comparing our border agents to the Klan. Do you know the history of the Klan? Here are our border agents. They are attacked with rocks, bottles, concrete. Do you want to be the guys who are fired against and told you better not fire back? Protecting this country. How? Why? With what? And you'll compare them to the KKK. Don't be fooled by this ruse. There's more this woman has to say, and I'll show it to you next. There is a revolution going on in America. Fundamental transformation. It has everything to do with the desire that these socialists have to overwhelm our country until it collapses and then reboot the system with what they now call social justice, which is, you'll see it all over the world. It's the third world poverty so much of the rest of the world is enjoying now, thanks to Marxism and socialists and progressives. Taking down Border Patrol is just one of the many steps along the way to the goal. You just saw activist Elena Harada compare the Border Patrol. You know what, Border Patrol agents? America is with you. We pray for you every night. Here she is comparing them to the KKK, but now listen as she compares the Border Patrol to the police.
They're not like the police, who will sometimes answer a call and you know, the police are, kind of regular. They're not all head busting and they're not all looking for trouble with everybody. There's a place for the police in the community, really. But there is no place for Border Patrol in the community. They have no good intentions.
Well, that's big of her to say that there's a place for our police. You notice how she realized that she was about to defend the police to a bunch of socialists? And she was like, I'm uncomfortable. Is it hot in here? Is it just me? It's kind of like, you remember when Maxine Waters caught herself admitting to what the goal is that are now unfolding in front of us now. Watch this.
And guess what this liberal would be all about?
Yes.
This liberal would be all about socializing. Would be about.
Yes.
Basically taking over.
Yes. Say it.
And the government running all of your companies.
On the nosy. Isn't it weird how uncomfortable she was when she said that, because they weren't doing it yet. But she knew, as part of the progressive caucus, she knew what was coming. And let me tell you what this progressive is all about. No, not yet, not supposed to say it yet. That's the exact opposite. Remember, nearly 80% of us don't trust our own government. It's not the government, it's the people in the government. You know, they don't trust you. They don't trust the police. I do. Really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter, though, if we don't know who we are, we don't know our own history and what we believe in. Watch this week's Founding Fridays, Women of the Revolution.
Here goes Glenn again with another history lesson. He thinks he's so smart. Come on, Glenn. We all know when women got the right to vote. 1920. You ought to know that, Glenn. Your favorite president, Woodrow Wilson, was in office. Wait, what did he say? Women had the right to vote in New Jersey in 1776? That can't be right. I gotta see this. The Women of the Revolution and the rights you never knew they had. Friday at 5 p.m.
Us professors. I'm reading the new book by Glenn Beck. New York Times says it's tripe. Must be good. It's available everywhere in bookstores. #1. I know. Thank you for doing that, just because it drives them crazy to have to print what our 6th #1 New York Times bestseller. Available everywhere. You'll love it. It's a thriller. From New York, good night, America.